Hi y'all, I'm out in my backyard. I'm about to pick some figs because tonight I'm gonna make some fig cookies. And I wanted to show you my fig tree, so hold a second here. Here's the fig tree, and you can see it has figs all up in here. I think you can see that. Maybe you can see the figs down in here. They're all in there. So we've picked quite a few. I love to just pick them and eat them right off the bush, but we're also going to be making different dishes with them. I'm going in here and picking this one right here, just so you can see how pretty these things are, and just show you. There's nothing like it. Just bite it right off the the bush. So delicious. So come on, let's go back in the house and we'll start making these fig cookies. Yum, yum. All right, so we're back inside the kitchen now. These are the figs that Bob picked this morning. 2 big containers of them. Doesn't take many for the recipe I'm using because it only takes 1 cup of chopped up figs. So I've already put the figs, I've already chopped those up and I've got them ready for the recipe. So I'm going to start putting the recipe together now, so let me get my mixer out and I'll get right back with you. Okay, so I'm back now and I've started with, I've got 1 stick of butter down in here and a cup of sugar. So I'm going to start beating that up, and that butter has softened. I put that in there a little while ago, so should not be a problem to mix that up. So I'll get that going, and I've cracked 1 egg into a little dish, beaten it up a little bit, and now I'm going to add this into the mixture. Then the next thing I'm going to add is, I'm going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of vanilla. Should have had this opened already, sorry about that. It's called Be Prepared, Gail. I wasn't. Teaspoon of vanilla, and I've already mixed together the dry ingredients, which included 2 cups of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I've got this all mixed together already here, and I'm just going to start adding it in by spoonfuls. I think I'm going to turn this beater down a little bit so we don't have so much flour puffing around. There's not a lot of liquid in here because it's just basically the butter and the egg and a little bit of vanilla. It's liquid, so this is going to get thick. But when we add the figs in, that'll add some juice to it again. Those figs are so sweet. You don't really need much sugar in this recipe. 1 cup of sugar is plenty. If you don't like cinnamon, you can always add cloves or nutmeg or some other spice, or just no spice. You could just go with just the vanilla. That's totally up to you. So, and I want you to see how this is looking down in here. So hold on a second. Ooh, it's nice and quiet when I turn that off, isn't it? Okay, so you can see how thick this is. I mean, that is some thick dough. But I think once we add these figs in here, it'll get a little bit thinner. So this is, it's a cup of figs, but then it's another half a cup of chopped up walnuts. And I'm just going to add it all at the same time. You can see those figs made some juice just sitting there like that. I chopped them up earlier today. Oh yeah, that makes a nice gooey batter now. Let me show you that now. Now you can see that's a nice little gooey type batter. Almost looks like it's too gooey, but I've heard that, I haven't made this recipe before, but from what I've read, that they're sort of like the chewy oatmeal cookies, that they're soft cookies, and that you should make them in fairly small size. So I'm going to start dipping these up and put them on I'm probably going to put them on a parchment lined cookie sheet. It said you could put them on a greased cookie sheet, but I just really like using the parchment paper, so that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see how the first batch turns out. Anyhow, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I've scooped these all up, and you can see I just used my little scooper. This is the small one, and just dump them out like that, one at a time on the cookie sheet. And the oven is preheated now to 350, so I'm going to put these right in here and let them start cooking. When the recipe said 15 to 20 minutes, I don't think it's going to take them that long. Those were kind of small ones that I'm cooking, so I'm going to check them around 11 or 12 minutes and see if I think they need more time. If they do, I'll leave them in for a couple more minutes. But at any rate, I'll let you know when I take them out how long they actually cooked. So I'll be back with you as soon as they're ready. Okay, y'all, I'm taking them out of the oven. They cooked right at 11 minutes, and they're kind of a golden brown, as you can see here, and very easy to come off the parchment paper. So I would highly recommend that instead of trying to fool with greasing a baking sheet. But anyhow, I wanted to taste one and show you. Let's see, they just look a little bit crunchy on the bottom, but they're, I'll show you this. It's like the texture like a muffin top. So, very tasty. You have the crunch from the walnuts and the little seeds that were in the figs. I'll tell you something else this reminds me of is, you remember the Fig Newtons? The dough that's around the Fig Newton? It sort of reminds me of that. Anyhow, they're very good. So if you've got a fig tree and you want to find another use for figs besides making fig preserves, this is a good one to do. I think the kids will love it. I'm just going to take all of these to my sewing group tomorrow. I think they'll love them too. Anyhow, love y'all. Y'all have a great evening. Bye.